Yes, I want to thank you too. And I do see someone else, Miss Allen, wanted to testify. Is Miss Allen here? Would you like to come testify? Please, come to the table. We have an extra chair. Yes, ma'am, Miss Allen. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me here. I'm here because I'm having some issues with the Department of Children and Family Services.
Well, that's not what this, we're going to be taking that in a little later.
Okay.
This is a task force on the health of a child in school. So we're going to be bringing DCSF up in the next few minutes, but not now.
Okay.
So it's a different, you're in the right church, but the wrong pew. We're going to get to you in a little while.
Okay.
So thank you. So yeah, you might want to get back in the audience because you don't want to get a question on healthy child and LDH. So we go.
Sorry, this is my first time.
Well, you relax, and we're going to call you up later.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So we'll hold your card until that period of time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Y'all, I just want to lay some ground rules, and I hope the committee's okay with this. What the goal that we set as a committee was, we had some issues that really concerned us about DCFS and some issues that took place earlier in the year. So we had a series of meetings, and the meetings were basically like, tell us what you're working on, tell us what your goals are, tell us where your deficiencies are, and tell us where your plans are. So we did talk about as a committee, and we agreed to, is we wanted to give a handoff to the next administration, the next leadership of what would take place. So what today's meeting from DCFS is, what have you accomplished? What are your goals still there? And what is going to be in basically your task force report for the new administration? I do see there's concerned people that would like to testify in opposition, and they've given me red cards, but we have no legislation to talk about. Today is basically just where's the handoff going to be? So what I would recommend is anybody that has a red card, who can they visit with DCFS so they can go in the side room and talk the issues through and go from there. But to take the testimony of a problem with an administration changing in a couple of weeks, our goal today is to give a good handoff to the next administration and the next leadership. So Secretary Ricks, who that wants to testify with red cards in opposition, who could they talk to? And maybe they could go into one of the side rooms and have a conversation.
Senator Mills, thank you. Terry Ricks, Secretary of DCFS. We have several members of the team here from Child Welfare, if it's Child Welfare, and then also somebody here from Family Support. And these are staff members who will be here through even on the other side of the transition. I have had opportunity to talk to 2 families this morning toward that end. Based on your recommendation last time we met, and we are happy to continue to do that.
So why don't we do that? Our Sergeant at Arms, could we, if there's any of the public that would like to meet with some of the DCF, let's put them in the side room if they'd like to do that.
So we can have,
Yeah.
we have, right, we have Sherry, Mona, Christy.
And why don't y'all, yes, ma'am. Wait. You come to the mic, ma'am, please, because I'm trying to get some. The agenda here is basically just to work on some issues for the next handoff.
I just would like to say that I don't have a problem with doing what you asked, but last week I did make a phone call to Ms. Kim Glapion Bertrand's office, and I spoke with her deputy, Sherry Powell, who threatened to have me put in jail, suggested that I hire an attorney to invoke my Second Amendment right, and that I needed to plead the Fifth because I had records from a case that I was involved in where I was an intervener, and I just felt like she started throwing things at me that I'm just disgruntled. I'm a disgruntled grandmother. So it's like if I go and try to talk to the same people who I've been trying to talk to for over a year, it's like I'm not getting anywhere, and that's why I came here.
I understand. I guess in this case, from a standpoint of the committee and our authority right now, we really can just take information in. We can't take action on that. If you've been threatened, I would probably get an attorney, to tell you the truth. I mean, I have an attorney sitting right next to me, and I tell you, if that's the case, that's more of a legal issue than an administrative issue for our committee right now.
Has she talked to the secretary?
Have y'all talked? You and the secretary have talked?
I have called her office. I did speak to her briefly, and she told me she wanted me to speak with Miss Savitri Scott, and I've been speaking to her for over a year. Miss Savitri cannot give me any type of update on my complaints. She can't say anything, and I do know that one complaint that was made where the foster father threatened me with a gun, it got turned around. It didn't even go the way I complained about it, what my complaint was, and she just doesn't know what to do at this point in terms of my issue. No,
Ms. Ricks, any thoughts?
Senator Mills, certainly, there's no family that is before us in this area. None of these cases are simple. We have been doing deep reviews in my office. That's what Savitri's job is. And it is really difficult to go tit for tat on anything, but we are reviewing matters fully.
I think, you know, from the guidance I have here, we respect your testimony, but I have to cut it short because you're going to have to get an attorney.
I understand.
You'll have to get an attorney. I mean, this is beyond the scope of our... Ms. Peck, did you want to help me as my attorney?
Senator Mills, I just wanted to say, and then this is a continuation of what happened during our last committee. We are not triers of fact. These are not judges, and they don't make decisions based on the incidents that are occurring with third parties with these departments. And so that's why we cut that testimony short last time, because you have one person saying one thing and speaking about employees or speaking about family members and parents. In this instance, we're not even voting on a bill today. There's nothing on the table for this committee to vote on. And so that's why our direction has always been to try to talk to either the child ombudsman, the auditor, the inspector general, talk to those entities and agencies that do investigatory work, but it's not this body. And so that's why, as the attorneys for the committee, that's why we've instructed the chairman to take that position, especially when we saw red cards and green cards coming in. There's nothing to take a position on today. This is simply just an update on the transition to the next administration.
Thank you, Ms. Peck. Vice Chair, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Allen, have you spoke with the Ombudsman's office?
Yes, and for a while, I was having a hard time getting to her because they would not let me get to her. So finally I did. And basically, her hands are somewhat tied as well because her power is limited. She doesn't have access to records. I can tell her whatever I want to tell her, but if the records are sealed or not privy to the public or to her, she can't verify anything that I say. And I feel like that's why there's no accountability for some of the things that happens with DCFS, because no one can really verify what we are saying is true.
And I know that to be true. The ombudsman was in our committee a couple days ago, and she kind of shared that that's one of the limitations that she actually faces. So I would agree with the chairman in terms of probably maybe having to take the legal route so that you have someone that can actually vindicate you and speak on your behalf and have access to the information that you cannot get access to.
Okay, so I did try that too, and
You have an attorney?
I had one, and St. Tammany just kicked us out of the entire case, me and the attorney.
I hate to cut you short, but this is beyond our scope, ma'am.
Okay.
It really is. If you've gone the route of adjudication, this is not. We appreciate you being here, but we can't help you.
Okay,
I hate to say it because we normally never say that, but we just can't help you.
okay,
It's a legal matter.
thank you.
Thank you. We can't be a judge and a jury. Beth, for just one, Senator Myself, I want you to hold a conversation, but I want to be very respectful for some people that have filled out red cards and green cards. I just do need to make a statement, and the statement is that I understand some people want to testify, and I'm understanding the complexity of the testimony, but this is not what this committee is doing today. This committee is not debating a bill so that there's public input into the pros and cons of the bill. Some of these issues are under litigation. Some of these issues are under investigation. So because of that, we just will not hear that type of testimony today, which is we respect it and we'd like to hear it, but we can't. The second thing is I'd like to direct these wonderful people to go to places that need to be gone. We have an ombudsman, if you need to go there with complaints about department. If you need to go to complaints about fraud or anything that could take place there, you have the Attorney General's office, you have the Inspector General's office. That's their lane. If you think that there's been misappropriation within the department, there's the legislative auditor. Here today is only testimony that we're taking in to present to the transition team. That's all this committee hearing is about today. So I know people are waiting here. I don't want them to waste their time because they want to testify. But from this standpoint, we cannot hear any testimony that would have that type of topic to it. Ms. Peck, I'll let you jump in if I miss something.
No, sir. Mr. Chairman, I think you explained it well. I mean, again, we are not, I know I'm repeating myself, but we're not triers of fact here. When there's disputes between two parties and one of the parties is the department, that's not the role that we're filling today. As the chairman said, a lot of this is already pending litigation. There are already actions taking place. So that's why our legal advice to the chairman came to us on how to handle it. Today, this was our advice that he's restating it. Several lawyers, including the lawyers on the committee, we've all discussed this.
And the last thing is, it's not on the agenda. So I just didn't want people waiting in the audience and we wouldn't take the testimony. So I apologize, Senator Mizell.